All right, so next up, we're gonna talk about Olivia Wilde and some social media backlash that she incurred after people interpreted a social media story that she put out where she was thirsting for ASAP Rocky. So I only find this interesting because of the presence or perhaps lack thereof of a double standard. So we'll play this real quick because this kind of made me chuckle. And I was low key happy to read this. I honestly was. So, Olivia Wilde, she's a Hollywood actress. She directs movies, she stars in movies. I think a lot of people might know her as the wife in the Quiet Place movies. She's been in a bunch of other stuff too. And then, of course, everybody who pays attention to this channel already knows who Rihanna and ASAP Rocky are. So, not going to go down the history on that. But apparently Olivia Wilde posted something to her Instagram story in which she commented on how hot she felt ASAP Rocky was. And people went at her for being thirsty for another woman's man. So this story is from page 6. It says, newly single Olivia Wilde calls ASAP Rocky hot, tags Rihanna in cringy posts. This may cause some effing problems. Olivia Wilde called ASAP Rocky hot on her Instagram story Monday and tagged the rapper's pregnant girlfriend Rihanna before deleting the post mere hours later. Quote, if I thought he was hot before, this really put me over the edge. The Don't Worry Darling director wrote about a video of Rocky filming Rihanna during the Diamond Singers Super Bowl, whatever that number is, halftime show. Sorry, guys, I don't keep up with the Roman numerals. Uh, Many fans found Wilde's caption to be cringy and questioned why she would brazenly tag the couple who have been dating since 2020. And then these were some of the comments on Twitter because obviously the way trolling works is she posted it to Instagram, but social media trolls are always on call, right? So somebody saw the story, screenshotted it, and then posted it to Twitter. And everybody got in on Twitter because people just don't have enough things to do with their time than to screenshot some person's Instagram story and then repost it on Twitter. You damn weirdos. Um, these damn trolls are something else. Damn weirdos.
Hey
But these are
man,
some of the
come
these were
on.
some of the comments that they made. She's living up to that last name of hers. One Twitter user quipped, "This is so inappropriate." Another wrote, "She needs to chill ASAP." A third person tweeted. So this is what the story looked like. So ASAP Rocky was in the gallery at the Super Bowl watching Rihanna perform, and he was, filming it. They're together. They have a child together. And, Olivia Wilde put that on her story, commenting on how hot she felt ASAP was for doing such a thing. Um, and then here's some more responses here. The way she's saying this with her whole chest and tagging both of them, it's embarrassing.
Damn.
Uh, so it goes on to say, Wilde removed the post from her story amid the backlash before addressing her followers, who, quote, got it twisted, writing, "It's hard to respect your partner." I'm sorry. So Wilde later responded by saying, "It's hot to respect your partner, especially when your partner just did that." So, what she was getting at was she was admiring ASAP Rocky for admiring Rihanna. That's what she found hot about that was, according to her. I'm not saying I'm saying this. I'm saying according to her, she's saying she found what ASAP was doing in support of Rihanna attractive. And so she called him hot as a result. And people went in accusing her of being thirsty, which I found to be humorous and sad at the same time because it's like y'all ain't got nothing better to do than to actively screenshot this thing and put it on another app for y'all to argue over or comment on. But this is 2023 westernized America after all, so can't really be surprised or too put off by anything these days, I guess. But there you have it. So this is pretty cool because this is a female who's being called thirsty and all of this kind of stuff, which is kind of interesting, fun. So what do you make of Olivia Wilde's story or the reaction that her story received in reference to ASAP and Rihanna?
Um, I think that the outrage is justified, actually, and because here's why. Now, I don't know this woman. I've never seen any of her work. Maybe I have, maybe I did. I just don't know her, but I did hear of this situation. And so I had to preface this as I don't know her because I don't know her other social media behaviors. But she's never made headlines before like this. So I'm taking this as her being newly single, saying something that she couldn't say when she wasn't. And I think that's the problem here. That the people that do follow her go, hey, you just got out of this situation. Now you talking about how some other man is hot, and this other man got a woman. This is one of those situations where um she stepped over a line. She crossed the line. Now what line was that exactly? I don't know. But that was a line stepped. And if unchecked, this could cause a issue down the line. Now, is ASAP going to smash on this thing? I wouldn't. I don't know who she is. And after looking up some images of her, I wasn't impressed. So I wouldn't even leave. I wouldn't leave Riri for nothing from this woman. I wouldn't risk it all for this. Is what I'm getting at. So yeah, initial thoughts here. I feel like she was thirsting. If especially if she didn't have behavior like this in the past. And this was one of those things where somebody walked into your house and you invited them in because you allowed it, and then they put something in there. Hey, can I put something else in here? Hey, can I put? Next thing you know, this they done move something in. You know, and it's best to nip stuff like this in the bud instead of allowing them to keep stepping over lines. So she can take a step back and claim that that's why it was. Well, that's why she did it in the first place, and that's why she worded it the way that she worded it in the first place, so she can have a way out. So yeah, there's trolls out there that's gonna sit there and screenshot it and upload it to the internet because who else follows this woman? But they saw it, and I agree. So I don't know one thing, bro. Maybe you gotta try muting your mic, plugging it in, plugging it back out, because I'm hearing a little feedback coming from your end. So, but yeah, so um, okay, yeah. Try muting it first. Yeah, and then try like unplugging it and plugging it back in because it's like staticky. But yeah, so Rihanna, I didn't even know that he was still with this girl. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy for him. I think they're both quirky, and I think it works. So mic check 1 2 1 2.
Well, are we good?
Oh man, we're Gucci. So yeah, man. So do you feel like the backlash was unwarranted, or do you think that maybe she was thirsting a little bit?
Based on the conversation that we just had, I'm gonna have to say that it was unwarranted because everybody for everybody out here. So if we have such a laissez-faire, lackadaisical approach to uh stepping out on relationships and marriages and all of that kind of stuff, and she put that post out there, then who cares, because everybody's for everybody. Of course I say that sarcastically, but you know I just don't like trolling. Like, principally, I think it's annoying because I'm just like, find other productive things to do with your time than to sit here and screenshot this post and put it on Twitter to talk about. But if we're going to have a traditional mindset when it comes to the sanctity of relationships, then I'm going to say perhaps what she did was a bit out of bounds. However, there is also the chance that she just didn't like. I try to be reasonable and take people at face value when I am not given evidence to think anything different. There's nothing in her history necessary. Well, let me not even say that because I don't know. As far as I know, there isn't much in her history that suggests mess that she has messy tendencies. But I could be wrong on that. If there's anybody who watches this video who is aware of her and what she's done in her past when it comes to personal situations, feel free to let us know in the comments. I know that she had some kind of thing going on with somebody that she was in a movie with. And before that, she was with one of those guys who was on SNL and they got two kids together. But in terms of her being messy with respect to a kept man, I don't know about that. And she did put on her, she did tag both of them in her story. So it's not
Weird.
like she put that. It's not like she put that out there and just tagged ASAP. She tagged ASAP and Rihanna when she did that. So if she was trying to be messy, I would think that you wouldn't tag the woman, that you would just tag him.
It's
But
fair.
hey, that's just me trying to be reasonable.
No, that's
Um,
fair. That's fair. That's a good angle right
yeah,
there.
yeah. So she did
Right.
tag both of them. But here's my overall point. I'm I was amused and rather pleased that she did get the backlash for this simple reason. When a guy does that, he gets raked through the coals. He gets absolutely destroyed. So like and by absolutely destroyed, I mean no one spares an expense, men or woman, at the opportunity to dime a man out for being thirsty towards a woman. The first time there's a guy who's creeping in some actress's DM, like let's say one of these celebrity guys or one of these athletes, these rappers, one of these guys like this tries to go into a Hollywood actress's DMs or is trying to holler at or something like this. If that information gets out, that guy is gonna he's gonna have to go through an embarrassing contrition. He's not gonna have to be contrite, but he's definitely gonna get raked through the coals for being a dude thirsting after a kept woman, for being a thirsty man. Because that's just a thing that we do. Let's embarrass and belittle men because it's a man's world and y'all have been getting off for so long. So whenever we find y'all doing something wrong, we're gonna go after you. So anytime a guy slides in DMs or gets caught being thirsty or thirsting after another chick when he's knowingly in a relationship or is married, like the trolls come out of the woodwork to dime him out for being thirsty. Uh, and it can even it doesn't even have to be a famous woman to whom this is happening. It could be podcast guy. I think I mentioned several months ago one of those fresh and fit guys was trying to fly out some IG model who's based in California to be on the Fresh and Fit show, and he said something slick to her in the DMs, and the first thing she did, because she was so offended by it, was she put him on blast by posting a story on by posting the DM exchange on her Instagram so that everybody can see how thirsty this guy was being. Because oh, these dudes out here so thirsty. So my thing is, if we want to sit here humiliating, making it literally making it an American pastime to embarrass men for being quote unquote thirsty, then let's also make it an American pastime to embarrass women for being quote unquote thirsty. Because women do thirst as well. Perhaps not at the rate that men do, because, and I've talked about this before, men are ridiculous with their own self control issues. But the point is, yes, if we're going to do this thing, make it a free for all. Guys getting criticized for being thirsty, women need to get criticized for being thirsty too. So I hope sincerely, and I mean this with all sincerity, I hope that the more women who do this get dimed out the way that Miss Wilde did, so that anytime a woman is, I don't, like I said, I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because I don't even think she was being thirsty because she tagged Rihanna in her story. But if these are the rules of engagement, so be it. So everybody's fair game. Men and women, everybody getting dimed out for being thirsty. And I'm all here for it. I want to see everybody get raked through the coals and humiliated the way men typically get raked through the coals and humiliated for being quote unquote thirsty. So, there you have it. That's pretty much my 2 cents on it. Gender neutrality, I believe, is a fallacy, just like modern feminism. I don't think it exists. However, if I'm going to be amused by some form of it in some kind of way, this will be one of the ways in which I'm going to be amused. I hope more and more of these chicks get exposed for being thirsty.
Well, like you said, man, if some man dares to do something like this, now you mentioned DMs, but let's say that there's a guy who's a performer, and his woman, who's also a well-known performer, is in the crowd recording him, you know, doing his thing, and then he puts a thing out on his story saying, "I thought she was hot before." Yeah, I thought he was hot before. You know what I'm saying? I thought she was hot before. Now, after seeing this, whoa, you know, and flame emojis. It's like, excuse me, the world's gonna be like, bro, you violating. She can't talk like a regular woman. She's not a regular woman. A regular woman can say stuff like that about somebody like him. You're in the same room as him. So by you saying these things, y'all, it's not far-fetched. You know, girl that I know from work, she wish she could talk to ASAP. This woman can actually maneuver and play that. So that's why people was like, "Hey, man, you can't say this. You're violating." And say this to your homegirls. You know, similar to the Jalen Hurts thing. You know, with Gabrielle Union talking about her and her homegirls be lusting over him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, "Hey, man, what kind of crap is that?" So he had to come out and was like, "Hey, man, I'm in a situation here."
Right. Yeah.
So she didn't know that. She just said it. But for her and her homegirls, and she's a married woman. And so her and her homegirls having girl chat and having a crush, a celebrity crush type of situation, which, they're entitled to be attracted to another man or whatever. But to say that on air publicly,
Right.
to embarrass your husband, to now put a threat out against this woman, because this woman who's just dating Jalen Hurts and dealing with Jalen Hurts, now she's threatened. There's a Gabrielle Union out there saying that, her and her friends like my guy. So that's an issue for that woman. So you disrespected and violated that woman. Well, Gabrielle Union doesn't care. She's just going to say whatever.
And because it's a behavior that's more permissible if women do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing about it, the double standards. So yeah, I just
Well,
want more of them to get called out for it.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
to speak further on the double standard, it ties into the double standard of women being attracted to other women's men.
Mm-hmm.
And so when women love that, they just can't help it. There's like real deal like women that are just exclusive career homewreckers. They're career homewreckers. For whatever reason, they're genetically predisposed to just wrecking a house. They're not going to have a man, but they're going to be the side chick for everybody. And she's going to ruin situations because that's just how she get out, And she's attracted to men who have situations. I don't know how many times I've heard a woman say that she's dealing with a guy and, he's separated. All right. Well,
Yeah.
when's he getting divorced? And it's an ugly divorce. Well, how long have you been dealing with this guy? About a year, and he still hasn't gotten divorced. Well, and it's like, why are you dealing with a man that's in this situation anyway? You like the fact that he's got that going on. Yeah, you might not overtly like it, but you like it.
Yeah.
And so when we're dealing with the nature of women, she couldn't help it in this context, because a man know that that's grounds for if he see me in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
he might whoop my ass.
Yeah.
There's no penalty for her for saying this, so she's just gonna let it fly and let it rip. So yeah, man, this was to me, it was disrespectful. It was in bad taste. So she could have added them or whatever. It was in bad taste. And the internet, of course, they're gonna, make it bigger than it really is. But I think the call out of her violating, it was necessary. And like you said, hey, there's two sides to this coin, and women do violate too. And it's about time that we
Mm-hmm.
call women out for
Yeah.
their violations as well. I agree
Yep.
with that, because
Yeah.
there's too many things that we let slide because it's like whatever. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, but you know what? And if we really want to change what's going on right now, we got to start holding people accountable. And
Yes,
behavior like this can't go unchecked. So,
because she's a female. Yeah, because she's a woman. Yeah,
right,
yeah. We yeah. That's my whole thing is women been thirsting too, but it's permissible. Now, part of the reason why it's permissible is if it's the other way around, even the mere perception, or not perception, but just even the mere idea of there being this thing, like what you said Hertz had to come out and publicly state, hey, I'm in this situation, because
mhm,
even the mere idea that there's something going on with that, a man has to account for that.
right,
But on the other way around, women don't have to account for that. Women don't have to come out and make statements saying, hey, I'm happily married, or I have my boyfriend or my husband. We just accept it as old men just gonna thirst. And we
exactly.
just accept it as, if women do it, you should sort of be grateful that they did that or something. Whatever the case is, whatever the rationale behind the double standard, the point is there's no penalty that women have paid for this kind of behavior. So my thing is, bring it on. If we're gonna do this to men and shame them for, and I don't even use words like thirsting unless I'm talking about it within this context, because my whole thing is, what is it? What did he do? What did he do? Because women do the same thing. So if
And
we're
they're
gonna call,
thirsty.
so right, so if guys are gonna get called out for this stuff, and guys get called out for thirsting for women who have boyfriends, women thirst for men who have girlfriends. We're gonna call them out too. So all things being equal, I'm good with it. Let it
Facts.
fly.
Call it
Let
out.
it fly. Let it fly all day, every day. Cause they do it. Trust me, they do it. I've been a recipient of it. And like you said, like Gabrielle Union did that, not even thinking about what
Ex-
she could have been doing. Like the
exactly.
thought didn't even occur to her, because you know, in her existence as a woman, she is subconsciously trained to perceive the idea of penalties based on certain things, and that's not one of them. So a woman can publicly talk about how attractive she finds another woman's man without feeling as though she's going to have to suffer any consequences, and that's
Yep.
going to have to change,
Yep.
like straight up.
Agreed.
So, I still think trolls are disgusting, but let's have all the trolls in every situation. Bring them out, you know, bring them all out. Call her out, and then because call if ASAP does that, they're gonna call him out. So let's call out these women for
With
doing it too.
with the
Yeah,
quickness.
they wouldn't even hesitate. Wouldn't hesitate.
Mm-mm.